It's
All
only
right, y'all. Welcome back
entertainment.
to It's Only Entertainment, man. I got Kareem KWOE on here with me,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Kareem, how you feeling, dog?
What up? What up, brother? How you doing, man? What's been up?
Man, not much, man. Blessed, man. Happy to have you on here. Been having this in the works for a little bit. I said if I can get one person on here, I know I want to get Kareem on here, man, because he gonna
Hey,
bring it.
man, I appreciate that, man. Listen,
Yeah.
first of all, Happy New Year, man. It's a new year. I know everybody's excited about the year 23 because I grew up on that MJ basketball. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I grew up on that MJ basketball, so the number 23 is a good thing, man. So, Happy New Year. I think that I see you expecting something? What's going on with you, man? I see a little something happening.
Yes, sir, man. I'm expecting my first child, my first baby boy, man. He should be here February, man, next month. So we excited, man.
Congratulations. I gotta sing you, shoot you something out, man. But yeah, congratulations on that.
Appreciate that, bro.
Congratulations, brother.
We're excited.
So I see you've been doing your podcast. You've been getting it in, man.
Yeah, man. I'm trying to get it going.
You know what's interesting, bro? I was shocked you even asked me because I'm into basketball because of my son, because of Avery.
Right.
Just that whole LeBron. He introduced me to LeBron. To be honest, I didn't introduce him to LeBron. He introduced me to LeBron years ago. Showed me a documentary on him. A long time ago when he first went into the NBA. He's like, Dad, this is the guy right here. I think he could take over from Michael Jordan. How you feel about Michael Jordan? Blah blah blah. And he's like, man, he's still with his same homies. He got his same homies from when he played when he was in school. So basketball became like something that I really got into at a later time. Because you know me, I'm an entertainer, just doing all the bar mitzvahs and all the private events and stuff. So I'm into music and the full, entertainment, music production and all that, producing music and all that. But basketball is because of my son, because of Avery. So that's the truth.
Got KWOE on here, man. And KWOE, tell us what KWOE actually is, man. We know it stands for Know Your Genius, Work to Be Unstoppable, Own Your Actions, and Explore the World. How did you come up with that little mantra for yourself?
Well, actually, the acronym, it used to stand for Kareem Wells. My last name is Wells. It used to stand for Kareem Wells of Excellence. Kareem Wells of In Disguise. I was in a rap group called In Disguise.
Right.
But as I went solo and started doing, a lot of music, by myself, like on the solo tip, it hit me one day, these letters. Like I had a dream, woke up, wrote it down next to my bed, wrote it down. And then I showed it to a guy by the name of Ivan Dupay, who owns Level X Music and Dupay Productions, which is a production house, DPMG, a music production house that I'm with, that I've been producing and doing music with. So we came up with, I came up with the name and I shared it with him. I was like, man, I'm gonna do the solo thing and I'm gonna call myself KWOE. And he was just like, he saw the letters and was like, I love it. And you fast forward about 6 years later, I rebranded it because I wanted my name to represent something that I could help kids with, because I do a lot of work in the communities, a lot of violence prevention, a lot of mentorship in the community. I have a non-for-profit organization by the name of the KWOE Foundation. And so I had a branding meeting and a meeting with a person that did marketing and she a lady by the name of Suzanne Muchin, and she schooled me on like, you can make your name all the things that you do, because I was doing music. With Flow Entertainment, I was doing the bar mitzvah stuff, all the bar mitzvahs that I do, and the weddings and things like that. And then it was the recording artist, KWOE, me as a recording artist and making music. So I was like, man, I got to put this all into one thing, but I don't want it to be about my name. Like Kareem, I wanted to stand for something that after I'm gone, it could still be there. And so we had this big meeting she's a strategist. That's what she is, Suzanne Muchin. She's a shout out to her, Suzanne Muchin. She's a strategist, and she sat down with me and came up with some of the things that we told her and was sharing with her, me and my team, shared with her. And it was like, how can we put this all into one thing? And she was like, I got it. And then she came to me, she was like, know your genius, work to be unstoppable, own your actions. And I think she had experienced the world. And I was like, I don't want to say experience. I don't say experience. It needs to be something shorter than experience. So we came up with explore, right? And so we created the KWOE group, and we put Flow Entertainment, which is the interactive entertainment with the DJs, the MCs, and dancers, that whole thing for the live performances and all of that. Then we put KWOE the artist, Then we did quote stories because I'm currently working on a scripted TV show about my life and a
Really?
docu-series. And this has been going on since actually 2018. Really, I had signed a deal in LA and that whole thing.
Because I want to get into how you grew up, man. I know you grew up on the West Side, and I just want to talk about your upbringing and your background coming up, man, because you obviously came a really long way.
Yeah, man. Well, I grew up on the west side of Chicago. In a dirt poor neighborhood, single parent home. My father was never part of my life, never interacted with me ever. That anything that I can really remember. I think I got like three memories of him. But grew up on the west side. I was a drug dealer. I left home at 16. I don't know what I was thinking, but I left home at 16, and I was selling drugs. On the west side. I felt like I didn't have anything, so I did what a lot of kids my age was doing. Like you turn to the streets, and that was a quick way, easy way and a quick way to make money. So that's what I did. I thought that was the way.
Right.
So just growing up on the west side in the gang infested neighborhood where people are not living in their full potential. Like compared to today, it's a little different. We got a lot of gun violence and things like that still happening. But at the same time, there's a lot of educated Black people out west and on the south side. It's a lot different than when I was younger. So
Right.
I don't take it for joke. You know what I'm saying? When it comes to Chicago and the West Side and represent my city and where I'm from, like it's very serious to me because a lot of young individuals are dying every day. And I think we got to do something about it and always do something about it, all the different. If you really look up how many famous people are from Chicago, people who I'm talking Lil Ray. I mean, the list goes on and on from musicians on down.
Yep.
You go to LA, they be like, where you from? Chicago, Chicago. So it really kind of makes me feel some type of way at the same time. It's like, yo, we got to come together, Chicago. That it always seems like there's no industry here. We have some of the biggest rappers, even right now, in from Chicago, and there's still no industry here.
That's crazy,
There's
man.
no because people scared or whatever the reasoning is, but I believe it is an industry here. I believe that because of where I'm from, just being that West Side hustler, having that mentality of no matter what, I have to keep going. Like being a high school dropout, right? I dropped out, had my first baby, 16 going on 17, kicked out of high school, drug dealer. Like I really take each and every moment that I live now. I take it very serious, man.
Right.
Like everything that I'm doing from the stuff, the community work to doing the events and to be in my shoes, to be in my shoes and where I'm from, I'm going to always represent, Black excellence and represent who I am and where I'm from at all times. And I'm going to do it with the most integrity. I'm going to do it with love. I'm going to do it to the best of my ability, man, to help touch whoever I'm coming in contact with. Like just even doing this interview, being able to contact with you and your viewers and letting them know that, man, it's really Black men out here that really do care about people, about their people. We right here that care about our children, that care about our kids. You know what I'm saying? My son. So I really put in that work as a father. I try to do my best. I try to instill the best thing into y'all, all of y'all, all you,
Yep.
Mo, all y'all. I've always been like that, said, y'all can do anything y'all put y'all mind to. And I'm proud of y'all. I just want to make sure I say that too. Y'all are an extension of who I am and so many other Black men. And y'all have done way better than we could have ever done at y'all age. Like, y'all done way better than us. And I'm proud of y'all. I just want to make sure I say that for the record. But trying to put a piece of who I am and instill that into everybody that I come in contact with, because I'm just really proud of my people. I'm proud of where I'm from. I'm proud of my city, and I'm excited about the future. I'm really excited.
Speaking
I
of,
really am.
I want tell me briefly, like, what are some similarities and some differences that you see between Chicago now and growing up when you were coming up, man? Like, what do you see that's the same, and what do you see that's like, man, this is different in the city, and
One of the things that I see the same, I think, it's actually better. The new generation, y'all know how to, because of the internet, because of technology and how things are. The younger generation y'all act real quick on when y'all trying to do something. You know, it's a quick reaction to, like, if you say like, yo, I wanna do 25 songs and put them out, you know, on the music side, they do it and put it out. It's not like they ain't sitting around waiting for somebody to tell them they can do it or they can't do it. Your generation go out and get it. It's just what it is. I think the similarity of the hustle. The hustle was very similar to when I was a shorty and now, except we just didn't have the technology the same way. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have that technology, but we still had that same hustle mentality. I see that. One of the differences, I think, the killings. You know, if I had to put my shorties are killing each other.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Back then, when the violence was happening, you know, you had to really have done something to get shot by somebody.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Or to get, you know, to get murked or whatever. Like it had to be like, you had to really do something. Now you could bump into somebody. You know what I mean? Or you could be on social media and say the wrong thing about somebody. And they walk right up to you and it's beef, social media beefs. And so that's the difference. I think that's one of the differences.
Yeah.
And you know, it's really a sad one, but that's I think that's one of the differences. I also think in sports, man, the new generation I mean, that crossover is fast. You know what I'm saying? You go back and Tim Hardaway crossover. Yeah, he had a crossover. He was a bad man. Like, you know what I'm saying? But today's generation, they get you real quick. It's a different type of beast out there. They built different. Y'all built different, man. Y'all built way different. It's a different mentality.
I'm hoping that they, you know, the next generation take it to the next level too. You know, that's what it's all about. That's what
but it's gonna take you and your generation. You're gonna have to teach them. Right. Because right now we got technology and social media. You know, everybody, if you notice, everybody think they experts on everything today. Man. You know what I mean? Like people acting like doctors on there, give me all these remedies and take this and take that. And, you know, I mean, I get it, you know, but everybody think they got all the answers. So y'all gonna have to teach that generation. The battle gonna be way harder than me teaching y'all or anything. Like, it's gonna be way harder because that technology, that TikTok, that Instagram, and the boy, it's a whole different beat. Man, you hit it right. Twitch stuff, all that. It's a different beast out there, man.
That's facts, man. That is facts, man. What? Speaking of rap, man, you talked about rap and guys making 25 songs in a day, man. Talk about how you got into rap, man. Did anybody specifically influence you? Because, like you said, you was in the streets a little bit. So, how did you make that transition? I don't even know if it was a transition. You might have been doing both at once. But how'd you get into?
Yeah, I was doing both. I was doing both, man. Like for a long time. Like it was really actually my older brother Boo, who was actually my DJ in the bar mitzvah world and the DJ entertainment world. You know, he's actually my DJ to this day. But it was my older brother. He had a group, and I was too young, but he wound up letting me in the group. But my mother was in a singing group called Coffee. It was a singing group that she had during the disco era. You know what I mean? And they did their thing, and it was really my mother who influenced my musical taste. She always played music in the house. She was always singing. I was going to her rehearsals and stuff like that. So I used to see her perform on stages and all of that as a kid. So I had a love for music. I had a love for music and entertainment. My first performance was at my grade school. It was The Wiz, and I created a Say No to Drug performance using The Wiz, and I was the Scarecrow. I was Michael Jackson's character. And so that was my first performance, man, as The Wiz. It was in The Wiz as the Scarecrow, Michael Jackson's character. So I always had that love for music, but it got serious in 1990 where I was like, you know, like wrote my first song in 1990, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I stuck with music ever since. I've always had a love for music and performances. Like today, you know, one of my favorite artists is Jay-Z, period. Like that's who I would play for Avery, let him hear, because I feel like he was speaking for my generation, you know, like even though Jay-Z is older than me, but he's still like, I was influenced by, you know, Jay-Z and just all the music that was out. Like it was like from NWA to Outkast. I mean, I had a lot of influence musically, but I love, Michael Jackson, Prince on the R&B side, on the pop and R&B side, Michael Jackson, Prince, Luther, all that kind of stuff. I was always into that music.
I know you was talking about the bar mitzvahs, and how does a guy from the west side of Chicago, ex-drug dealer, rapper, how does he get into bar mitzvahs, man? Tell us how you got into that lane.
Man, that was like all God. It was like the at a certain right place, right time, I could say.
Yep.
So I was working in the studio, which is downtown Chicago on the Gold Coast, working in the studio, and I got a call from a half brother. My father had about 25 kids, something like that, and it's one of my half brothers, and he needed a dancer. They were short a dancer for an event. He didn't tell me what it was, and I really wasn't here. I didn't know what bar and bar mitzvah. I didn't really have a clue on any of that anyway. And so he called me and he was like, "Man, can you come to Excalibur nightclub?" Which is now Tao. It's Tao nightclub and restaurant. It's where Tao is located. And it was called Excalibur at the time. And he told me to come on over. He was like, "Man, we short a dancer. I know you dance. I know you break dance. I know you know." He's like, "Just wear all black." I get over there, and it was, man, bro, like all these kids and adults, and I was like, "Man, what all these kids doing?" Walk in, I see all these kids, all these adults. I'm like, "Man, it's a nightclub. What's going on?" Then I go upstairs and they dancing and lights, camera, action, bro. It's like something I had never seen in my life. And I look and I went up to the guy that was the MC at the time. I was like, "Yo, what is this, like his 50th birthday or something?" He was like, "Nah, it's his son's party." And when I saw that, bro, I couldn't believe it. I was like, "Yo, I'm gonna hit my mama up, ask her why I ain't never have a bar mitzvah." And look, I didn't even know how to say it back then. Bar what? But I was like, this is crazy. Like, and then when I found out what it really represented, they had to do a day of service, they had to do a Torah portion, a mitzvah, all this stuff that went along with it, becoming a man, and you had all their family there. I mean, out of town family, friends from school. You see a lot of dancing just to celebrate. I had never seen anything like that in my life, and I was like, man, this would be amazing if Black people did something like this, where they honored their kid and they had to do community service, and it was a religious duty. You know what I mean? If you look up what mitzvah mean, it's a commandment from God, a good deed due to religious duties. If you look it up, it's crazy. And I saw that and was just blown away by it. And the parties are usually on Saturdays, sometimes on Sundays, sometimes on Fridays, but mainly Saturdays. And I saw this, man, and this guy was like, the people loved you because I came in with my hat on. I had my hairline, my hat on. I was dressed a certain way, and they were just like, "Who is that guy?" Because I was bringing it different. I was different than my brother Jamal. Like, we had a different swag. My swag, he wasn't a street dude. He wasn't, involved in none of that kind of stuff. So when people saw me, I had a more authentic thing, like what the kid was seeing in the basement, on BET, the basement of MTV. So I had more of that thing, and they was like, "We want the authentic thing." And so that guy called me up that Monday. He actually called me on Sunday the next day and was just like, "Hey, would you mind doing this again? Do you want to do this again? I would love to have you come be one of my dads." I was like, as long as I got 2 kids, I'm thinking like, yo, I gotta make money. I'm working at, in the restaurant, waiting tables at this point now. So I'm doing all this stuff. I'm like, man, I gotta make extra money for my kids. So I was like, as long as it don't mess with my music and my job that I'm doing to make my money, I can do this on the weekends, bro. Wind up doing it. And then I started getting requested as a dancer. And then one day I was put in a position to be an MC, because to hold the mic down. And by me being a rapper, I knew how to perform. You know what I'm saying? I knew how to command the crowd and get the crowd into it. So the guy had to use the bathroom, asking me to watch the mic. He was like, "Man, can you hold the mic down? Just run that dance set." And I did it. And I got the people. I did it in my way. You know what I'm saying? I didn't do it how the white dude was doing it. I did it my way. And put my own flavor to it and my own thing, and still was able to be authentically me. You know what I'm saying? And from there, I started getting MC gigs with this guy. And he was a good dude. He's one of the best to do it. In my opinion, I learned a lot from him. I got a lot of love and respect for him. And I wind up, some stuff happened, and I wind up having to start my own company. I didn't even want to do. I was doing music for radio and television, making money doing that. I had moved up with, up in the production end of things at the studio. And I wound up just getting requested more, having to start my own thing. And I wind up doing it. It was like that, bro. It was like, and people just was flocking to us, man. Like, so I built a team of people who helped build what the company is today. I have, Flow Entertainment is pretty well known in the bar mitzvah world. We actually go into other states. We've been out of the country doing mitzvah celebrations. So booking out 3 years in advance, which is a blessing. We've been going for 17 years. We've been going for 17 years now, man. And we still book. I got a large crew of people, multiple crews I can send out in a night.
Right.
It's been a blessing, man. Like, to be called the king of the mitzvahs, to be a black dude from the west side of Chicago, dominating in a world that I never even thought I would even be in. You know what I'm saying? I never thought I'd even be. If you'd have told me back then that I'd be where I'm at today, and gained a lot of the success and wealth and things like that from doing events and bar mitzvahs and weddings and corporate stuff, I would have never believed you. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful I pivoted and made the decision to go and to show up. And that's what a lot of times, that's what a lot of people don't do. They don't take the chance and bet on themselves and show up. So I had to show up. I showed up, and I learned everything about the industry that I was in. I learned as much as I could, and I took my talent and I used my relationships. I built a lot of relationships in the Jewish community. I built a lot of bridges between Black people and Jewish people throughout the years, man. And I'm close with almost every family that I've done events that I personally did events for. I remain in contact with the people, with the families, and we had some real deep conversations. Like some very good, some great moments. Not just celebrating and entertaining and doing that. It was deeper, and that's something that I think a lot of people need to see, especially in the climate that we in now. You hear, you see the stuff that's going on with different people, Kanye and the different comments, and they talking about anti-Semitism and all of that kind of stuff. I think the best thing we could ever do is educate ourselves. Love people for who they are and for what they not. I think that Andre 3000 Three Stacks said that. I love you for who you are and what you ain't. And I think if we trying to have just a better world, a better everything, we have to accept people as they are. You know what I mean? Accept them as they are and listen. Listen. I always tell people, listen to learn, to educate, to heal, for change. It's something that God put on my tongue years ago. And I tend to say that all the time. And when we do that, we gonna have better results. I think it's needed. It's truly needed, man.
Absolutely, man. You was just you dove into a little bit of the climate of what's going on today, and I guess you could call it the pop culture world, but really it's just everyday life, man.
Yeah.
With the anti-Semitism and things like that. Just talk about specifically the Kyrie Irving situation. I'm not sure if you extremely familiar with it or not, but I just wanted to hear your output or input on that whole situation. Man, I know it's kind of in the past right now, which is a good thing, I guess you could say. But what did you think about that whole situation?
Well, I if I could be just blunt, I thought if we talk about Kyrie, because the first thing that happened was Kanye, just keeping it 100.
Yep.
And I was like, I would have loved to have seen Kanye, and he did it his way. Every person, human being, has every right to do whatever it is they want to do their way. I just know that to become a Black billionaire, you did not get there not using your Jewish resources.
Absolutely.
So it would have been nice to him just say the people's name, like speak on who was doing them wrong so people can know exactly who it was. And you can say, well, this person right here did this to me. Because I know it had to be, now I could be wrong. Now I don't know his money and I don't know how how his money came, but you telling me he ain't got no Jewish people, no Jewish lawyers, attorneys, accountants, management, secretary, nobody Jewish helped him get to where he is. And I think it would have been nice to give some real balance and context to it when he first said it. But people do things when they dealing with certain mental things and situations or whatever they're going through. We say and do things sometimes the wrong way. And Everybody's entitled to make mistakes.
Yeah.
Everybody's entitled to correct their mistakes. The Kyrie Irving thing, that one I really, to be blunt and honest, the man said out of his mouth, he said, "I'm not anti-Semitic. I love it. I have nothing against nobody. I know who I am. I know what I do." He actually said that, and you got to take the man's word for it. You can't make it what you want it to be because you thinking it's one way. People. Some people probably thought he was anti-Semitic because of this, because he likes a tweet or he retweeted something. He could have did it blindly. People do that all the time on social media.
Right.
Yeah, you've never liked something that you just saw a thing and you didn't even know what it was. You're like, oh, look, click. That's what social media is.
Yeah.
You ain't even thinking twice about it. Because if people people was really upset about that, I just want to take it to something else, and not to deflect, but I'm just giving some perspective to it. The money that we have, when you look at $100 bill, $20 bill, $50 bill, five and a single, all them dudes own slaves. All those dudes did something to somebody somewhere, and they still sitting on our money.
Mm-hmm.
We have to look at it every day. Every time you go to the store and pull cash out, you looking at the person that killed and oppressed and did some very hurtful things. We looking at that. So we gonna start going all the way there. We have to go all the way there. And it's gonna have to go back about 400 years. Like, you always hear people talk about the 400 years, because that's where it started.
Right.
So the best thing we could do is listen, to learn, to educate, to heal, for change. And that goes for everybody. Nobody is excluded from that.
Yeah, that's
so that goes for everybody, man. Especially in the Black community. We got to focus on what we need to really be doing. I think we are. I think it's a matter of sharing the resources with one another and really uplifting one another. Like, for instance, when I think of like LeBron James, he got his sports management company, he got all these film and TV, and he pulling the younger generation up as they go. Ivan said this to me. He learned it somewhere and passed it on to me. And this is that generational wealth that you can pass on. This is like my big bro. He said, faith, it was 5 F's. He said, faith, family, friends, finance, and fun. That's how he lives his life, in that order. That's how he got his success. And when I look at that, he broke it down even further and was like, yo, if you don't have faith, you can't have family. If you don't have family, there's no way you can have friends. You wouldn't even know what it means to be a friend to someone. Right? Faith, family, friends, finance. And if you don't have any friends, how you gonna build any type of money? How you gonna make money? You don't have no friends. You don't have nobody that you cool with to work for, right, to do. How you gonna make? And without finance, it's gonna be a little hard to have fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, you can sit down to play board games, but you gotta be able to pay that rent, keep that roof over your head. You know what I'm saying?
That's real, man. And you talked a little bit about your philanthropy work and things that you do in the community, man. Just get a little bit more into that. I know I believe you had a food drive for Thanksgiving.
Yeah. We did a holiday drive. Yeah, we did. The KWOE Foundation did our annual holiday drive. We call it Always Give Back Drive, where we do, sometimes we'll do coats and winter gear with food, but we may do toys next year. Maybe it's always going to be food, but sometimes it's toys and food. So we do something for Thanksgiving, and we do something for the Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, holiday season. So we do something for that, and we this year we fed 500 families. And gave out coats and winter gear for 500 families on the west side and south side of Chicago. And that's the stuff that I'm really proud about. That's the stuff that I want to brag about. That's the stuff that I think has the real purpose and the real, it allows me to be who I authentically am. You know what I mean? Like, I've always wanted to give. Even when I was out there in the streets, I wasn't, I don't get high. I didn't drink. To this day, I don't, right. And I always wanted to just help people. So it wasn't that I was out there just to, sell drugs and do all this. I always wanted to help people. Right. And to be able to be in the shoes I'm in now and to do something that's organized and that at the level that we're doing it at with the foundation, I'm more proud of that than anything, than any accolade I could have ever done, any award I've ever gotten, or any of that kind of stuff. I care about the giving back portion. I care about helping those in need because I know what it's like to stand in a free cheese line. I know what it's like to be getting a link card and food stamps and
Right.
stuff. I know what that look like. You know what I'm saying? I know I've stood in that line getting that powder with milk and cheese with my mom.
Right.
So this is the real work. And this is something I also believe that our people must always remember. I don't care, like I said, if you're the janitor or you in the C-suites, you know what I mean? Your CEO or whatever it is, we have to always give back. I believe that that is the true essence of Black people. We've always been giving people. We've always been understanding and forgiving people. And we got to remember that when you got millions and billions, you need to be giving half of it away. I really believe that. That's just me. That's just how I feel. You got to be, or a third of it, or something. You got to, if you're gonna be out there doing it, you got to be doing. You got to be giving back, man, and uplifting people. So we've had that going on. We've been doing this for years. I also do something with Level Next Music. We've been doing feedings for years, man. And though my proudest moment, like it's the most humbling and the most proudest moment I would say would be giving back. And we continuing to do stuff. We're doing a lot of mentorship. We rocking out with Champs mentoring, male mentoring. My guy Vondell, I believe in partnerships. I believe that how is it that, and I ain't gonna go too deep into it, but I just feel this way. There's been non-for-profits forever.
Uh-huh.
And you politicians and non-for-profits forever. And you look around, you don't see any change. You see it's more killings, it's more
Right.
this, it's more that. You got to ask yourself why. I truly believe that one organization can't do it by itself. So I'm real big on building bridges and building relationships with their connecting people. I share my resources, always been like that. And I think it's important that these major organizations that are saying they helping and doing and all of that need to come together. Because I've never seen the Salvation Army team up with the YMCA and be
Right.
like, yo, we gonna do this, and that's not my space to tell nobody what to do with their money. But you got to ask yourself that question. If
Mhm.
the most of the majority of the money is supposed to go to help the people when all these organizations are getting millions of dollars, if that's the case, why things still look like this for the
Right.
youth? Why ain't nowhere to go play ball and nowhere to be safe? And you're getting all these millions from the government. You're getting millions donated from independent, forgive me, I can't get the name, but when you're getting money from just regular people,
Yeah.
private sector, private sector. When you get money from people just privately giving you money, the money got to get there now, and that's something that the Quote Foundation is really on. We're trying to help a smaller mom and pop places that are really putting the work in, like a Mildred Franks on the West Side, little old lady who's putting the work in, running it out of her house, but she don't get the funds because she don't have it the way people need to see it. They always say, is it scalable? They use those words. Can you scale it? Is it, what are they always trying to find a way, but the truth is you can't scale that she got 50 kids in her, she's saving. You can't put that on paper, really. The
Right.
50 kids' lives that she changed, 100 kids, 1,000,
Right.
you can't, that lives that she helped change and help them want to live and want to be somebody and do something with their life. There's no data on that.
Right.
They be wanting data. What's the data on it? Well, go on the West Side and see. Sit
Right.
with them and see. Don't just send your money. Because if you're just gonna send the money, don't worry about what they're doing with it then. If you're just gonna send the money.
Right. Right.
Because it
Right.
means you believe it, you just gave them the money, they can do whatever they
Right.
want with it. But you
Yeah.
gotta go see. Because the data ain't gonna always show up on paper. It's gonna show up in those kids' lives. And just as a mentor, I see it all the time. And so I want to continue to bring in resources financially and just all my resources and help grant the smaller mom and pop organizations that are actually doing the work 365 days a year. When I'm out doing the bar mitzvah, they out there in the streets trying to save lives. I want to be able to get them that money and without all the red tape, because I believe in them and I see the work being done. So the future of that is bright. I'm excited about that as well.
All right, man. Well, we about to get ready to wrap it up, but the last thing that we gonna do is this little segment I call Mount Rushmore, right? And I'm just gonna ask for your Mount Rushmore of a few different subjects.
Okay.
I mean, Mount Rushmore, obviously 4 people. So, first one I want to hear is your rap Mount Rushmore. I know you're big music, big into rap. So I want to hear your rap Mount Rushmore.
Rakim,
Okay.
Jay-Z,
Mhm.
I would let me see. Rakim, Jay-Z. I like Pac because he was walking. Uh, he represented, but he also was he was imperfect, and I love that about him. He contradicted himself. I mean,
Right.
I may he rest in peace. He was a human. He was
Yeah.
an imperfect human being. So I like, one minute he's saying thug life, next minute he's like, I'm gonna shoot you up. You know what I mean? I'm thug life. You know, thug minute. Next minute he Brenda's got a baby. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a human. Like we all have. So I gotta throw Pac in there. You know,
One
people
more.
always say Nas. I think Nas is super dope. Um, I think Nas is super dope. I don't know if I put him in my top. I just don't think so. I just don't think I do that. Like just being real with myself. So
Yeah.
I would say Rakim, Jay-Z, Tupac, Andre 3000, 3 Stacks gotta go. This is for me. He gotta go. And then like to give that last person where I'm just like, man, I can listen. I just, man, I honestly, Kanye would have been, he would have been my, but it's just too much,
Too
takes
much.
away. I
Yeah.
can't judge him. I can't judge, like, I can't judge him on his mistakes and all that. Ain't my
Right.
place. So I'm gonna say Kanye West, man. I'm gonna
Okay.
give it, those are my 5. Like, because I think he started the new era of, because Wayne could have got in there too. Like I could have slid Wayne in there easy.
Uh-huh.
But I think Kanye opened it up for everybody else after him. I
Yeah.
just think he opened it up. Like, even though Wayne was doing it just as long, but I would say, yeah, Wayne or Kanye, yeah. And I like J. Cole and I like Kendrick. They all dope, but I'm just talking about like change the game, like
Yeah, exactly.
ultimately change the game. And
Yeah.
I think Kanye is one of those people, and I think the 5 people I named, they did that thing for me. Rakim was the one that came after like the, you know, um, Grandmaster Flash and people like that. Rakim, when he came, he added
Change
the,
it
like, you
up.
can be swagged out, you can
Right.
be lyrical, and just they all added a certain thing. Jay-Z from the business standpoint, metaphors, but I can go, listen, go Andre 3000, just eclectic, just a master at what he do, like from the pimps, like from Southern player catalytic music to ATL aliens, you know what I mean? Like I
Uh-huh.
just, it's so many. Kanye, his first 3, ain't you gotta go there. It's just those
Yeah.
artists, and then Lil Wayne, if I said Lil Wayne would have almost made it, but to me, Kanye busted open for the Lil Waynes to be as big as they were.
Right.
So that's I'll give you that.
Okay. Oh, that's
But
valid.
it's hard. But that's always hard to do because it's just so much talent out there. That like top 5 is like the most stressful thing to really do because I like so much music and I like different genres of music too.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this one we're gonna go basketball. We're gonna go basketball, man. We're gonna go like I said. I know you're more of a street guy, more of a music guy, but I know you know a little bit about them hoops. So
Yeah, yeah.
give me some.
Um, I mean, like I'd be a fool not to say Michael Jordan. I
Got
mean, like I'm a '90s baby, so I'm a '90s. I lived the '90s, so I would definitely say MJ out the gate. I would definitely throw in like my old. See, I don't want to go too old school because I didn't really watch Kareem Abdul-Jabbar play.
right.
Like I can't. I know he cold. I mean, you hit Wilt Chamberlain. You like all these names. Yeah, they got. Because if we're gonna go off rings and all that, I have to go somewhere. But I'm talking about that I
Right.
watch play. I'm not
Yep.
gonna go to an era that I don't have no clue. I didn't watch Dr. J really play.
Right.
So I'm gonna say Jordan, Shaq, LeBron,
Yep. Sean
Kobe.
and Kobe. Okay.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Yeah, I
And
can't.
Kobe.
There you go, right there. I
Okay.
leave it at Kobe because I watched Kobe. He was cold. I can't sit
Right.
up here and he was a monster. Like you can't not. The truth is, Kobe was a younger Michael Jordan. He was a younger
Right.
generation of Michael Jordan. That's just
Yep.
what it is. Like he mimicked everything. So and then LeBron to me was Magic. and Jordan.
Everybody cooked up.
Everybody else. Just throw all the dudes I named, throw them in.
Yeah.
And there's LeBron.
I want to hear top 5 people that is like influence your philanthropy. You know, who really got you into that stuff, or who have you really said, man, I like what they do. I want to try to model that what I got going on. You know.
Yeah.
They do.
I think Malcolm, Martin Luther King, Malcolm, just from the history of how they moved. I'm definitely gonna give those two. Give them because they the foundation of it, to be honest. And we've kind of we've forgotten, because Martin Luther King got us to the mountaintop. That's why you have Black billionaires, basketball players, athletes, entertainers, blah, blah, name it down the list. They got us there. We just forgot. Malcolm, I love just his relentless, like the peace he had, but he also knew I defend my family in a heartbeat.
Right.
You ain't finna smack me. You ain't finna. So I love that. I would say Ivan Dupé.
Okay.
Took me in on the music side of things, and the spiritual side, just introducing me to God, and just, introducing me to a way of life, Christian way of life, and just Ivan Dupé. And I'm still rocking with him to this day. My boy Chief, who's no longer living. He was the one that showed me how to, bag up, how to do everything. And he's also the one that told me, you can no longer do this. You got 3 choices: to go back to school, get a job, or pursue your music. He was that guy, and put me up in an apartment and told me I had to do it this way, or because I couldn't, be in the streets. So I would say his name is Chief Marshall Chief Hill Jr. He's no longer living.
God bless the dead.
And then I would say my mama. That's who influenced me hard. Like, those are the people that influenced me on. That my mother was always doing for other people, her own way, So those are the people, and and all the ancestors and those before me, my grandmother and my great grandmother, people who really just cared about people. So yeah, those will be my Mount Rushmore of philanthropists and people who cared.
No, that's a hell of a list, man. That's a hell of a list, bro. But like I said, man, I appreciate you joining me, man. Just the viewers, I'm sure there's a lot of things we could take from this one, man. A lot of gems that was being dropped in this episode, man. I'm very excited to get this one out, bro. And I can't thank you enough for this one, man.
No, thank you for having me, man. And again, Happy New Year. Congratulations on your son. We pray that he is healthy, strong, and full of God's love and wisdom. Also, what you're doing, continue to do. Keep this platform, positive platform, where you can help others grow and learn. Yes. I think it's great when the younger generation, the older generation come together and talk and learn from one another and listen. And you taking the time to reach out to me, to have me on here, it's an honor. I appreciate it. And I pray that all your listeners grow and that they spread the word on what you're doing.
Yes, sir,
man. I love you, bro. You know that. I love you. I'm proud of you. I was proud of you from day one. Just keep pushing and doing what you're doing. Just make sure you remember those 5 F's that I told you about.
Gotcha. Yes,
and all the listeners out there, make sure y'all remember those 5 F's: faith, family, friends, finance, and fun.
That's real, man. I love you too, bro. I appreciate everything, man. We're gonna talk soon though, off air.
All right, bro.
No doubt. Love.
Peace. Bye.